Tim and Dom from NFL Talk from across the pond and back. So much going on this week. So many interesting games. Not like last week where the stinkers were prevalent. Speaking of stinkers, Dom, how you doing today?
Yeah, all good. All good. Halloween is over, which for me is a delight because when I become leader of the Supreme Universe, I will ban it because I hate it with a passion. But I know it's big over there, so I.
It's very big over here. Not as big as some of the towns that you were just telling me about from your hometown, which we really can't get into. But not as big as evidently over there. I'm not going to say anything else.
My hometown celebrates will burn effigies of a man who tried to blow up Parliament 500 years ago, near enough, not quite, but on the 5th of November. So that will be purgatory for me, but I'm sure other people will enjoy themselves.
Well, yes, of course. It's always a fun holiday.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If anyone wants to know, I am the Grinch of all festivities.
Well, hopefully you're not the Grinch of NFL football because you know what?
That was last week.
That was last week. This week we have some shocks. We have some surprises. We have some thrills. We have some chills. We have some just things that make you go, huh. And one game I want to get into right off the bat. We're going to knock it out of the park right out of the bat. Cincinnati Bengals and New York Jets. Jets 34-31. Is Zach Wilson gone? Because Mike White from Western Kentucky, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, in the upset win at home, 34-31. Jets. Oh, Lordy. I still can't. I'm watching the highlights, and I still can't believe it.
I don't think Wilson can believe it either. But White, do you know, he's only... I'm just going to read this off my screen because I jotted this down earlier. He is only the second quarterback since 1954, I think it was, because I didn't write down the year, which was stupid, to go over 400 yards on their first career start. Do you know who the other one was? I'm going to test your trivia straight off the bat.
Daniel Jones.
Apparently not. No, not on his first career start, no. Apparently not. Not according to the NFL.com.
You got to give me more of a stat than that.
He's a former MVP in this century.
In this century.
Yeah. If I gave you more of a hint by narrowing it down, it might have given it away.
He was a former MVP in this century.
Yeah.
Did he play for a team? Who was in this century? This century. I can give you one more clue. No, I don't want a clue. I think I have an idea, but I don't. For some reason, I want to say Jameis Winston, but that's not it. I'm going to say Cam Newton.
It's Cam, yeah.
Thank you. Oh, there's no applause.
I'll give you a quiet round of applause.
But thank you anyways.
But for the millions listening, they are all applauding your trivia at home, and there you go. That was Dom's quiz of the week. I saw that stat and I was like, I need to jot that one down, and then forgot to write down the year, which was daft, but I'm sure it was 1954.
Yeah, it was 1954. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Mike White, though, of course, he comes out of Western Kentucky. His former coach, was the former offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, and he also coached Andrew Luck over in Sanford. And he said, and they interviewed him last week, so I heard it. I mean, this week, because it would be after the game. He said that Mike White was the best pure passer that he ever coached. And like I said, this is a guy that was the offensive coordinator for Notre Dame and was Andrew Luck's. You know, he worked with Andrew Luck, and he said that Mike White had a better deep ball, has a better spiral, the best pure passer he's ever seen. The only reason he went to the 5th round to the Cowboys, he said, was because of the fact that he had a bad combine. And that and a bag of donuts will get you a bag of donuts. But for one day, 37-45, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dom, is Zach Wilson going to be on the trading block next year?
I mean, it was one game, right? Let's not get excited.
In Giant fandom, this would be the greatest game ever.
Well, let's see what the other half of New York make of it. Look, great game, great day if you're a New York Jets fan. Great day for White. One he'll obviously always remember. I don't imagine Zach Wilson was terribly happy about it. I think Joe Flacco is probably even more unhappy about it. But yeah, what can you say? And their final 5 drives, they came away with points to take the game away from the flying Bengals, who I think going in were the number 1 seeds in the conference at that point. So you've got to give them credit for that. And what a bounce back from last week's catastrophe. And you have to give Salah and his coaching staff a lot of credit for the way they prepared from that game. Now, the motivation would be, do you really want to be as crap as you were last week? I mean, or do you want to try and do something? I imagine was how the conversations went, but probably in slightly less delicate tones. But they came back and they won, and you can't ask them more.
He completed passes to 10 different wide receivers, or 10 different players. I shouldn't say some wide receivers. Some were running backs, some were tight ends, but 10 different guys he completed passes to. That's insanity.
What's the fault in this game? There were 2 interceptions. Well, you're going to get that from inexperienced guys that on their first career start. I think he's been in the league 3 years now. So, but even so, that's his first career start. You're going to get that. You can't fault him. You really can't fault that performance.
He's bounced up between the Jets practice squad and active roster 11 times in the last year and change. And then this happens.
Do you reckon they're hoping they've got the receipt still from the Joe Flacco trade?
I'm hoping. I think that return. I think they're past the 7-day return policy on Joe Flacco. I love.
I imagine it was a 7-minute return policy.
And I love it because before the game, they were talking about how Joe Flacco, how they're going to get ready, Joe Flacco ready for next week. And this kid throws up for 405 yards.
Yeah, I've got some insight into that, actually, how they're getting him ready for next week, if that's helpful. So what they're going to do is he's going to spend the entire week practicing carrying a clipboard and water bottles and how to sit on the bench and make sure he vacates his spot when White comes back to sit down at the end of each reception. That's his prep for the week. It's nicely laid out. They put it on the board. He's going to follow it. It'll be fine.
I just, like I said, it was one of those dumbfounding games, and you wish the kid well, but I just don't see this as a reoccurrence.
No. The Jets are 2-5. The guy's not had a start after 3 years in the league before this week. Obviously not, but great credit to them, and the Bengals. Still well placed to make the playoffs, which was a surprise to everyone. But the Jets did also, on the other side of the ball, they did stop the run there. Mixon couldn't run the ball all day.
No, but like I said, the Jets played you can't even say they played an all-around good defensive game. They gave up 31 points.
They gave up 31 points, but they stopped the run.
They couldn't stop anything else.
They couldn't stop the air game, but, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, not many people have stopped them this year, to be fair.
Well, they slowed him down, but I got a trivia question for you. Because this is going to be a great segue into our next game. Name the first person in Super Bowl era history to have 900 plus yards receiving plus 10 touchdowns in their first 8 games.
It is Chase, isn't it?
No.
Do you know what? I even read this earlier, and I can't remember who it is. In fact, it's not Jamar Chase, but I know exactly who it is. And you're going to have to remind me. I even saw it earlier.
He burned the Giants for a touchdown, for a 15-yard touchdown where nobody was around him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can picture him and everything. I can even picture the uniform.
You don't put it in a mug. You put it in
a cup. Yeah, I can't remember his first name, but cup.
It's not a hooper. It's a
Cup from the Rams.
Cooper Kupp.
Do you know all I could think of after I said Jamar Chase and realised it wasn't was Cooper Rush, the Cowboys backup quarterback. I was like, it's not him, but I can't think of what the guy's name is.
Oh my God! What's amazing to me? I knew that Matthew Stafford I think we all knew, going to the Rams and getting out of Detroit was going to be a godsend. But the guy's another 300-yard game, another 3 touchdowns. He has been lights out for this team, for McVay. I think it's everything McVay has always wanted in a quarterback. He's already thrown for 2,477 yards. He's got 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I said it before, completed almost 70% of his passes. If he's not the front runner right now for the MVP of the league, I mean, I don't even know why they give out the trophy, because he's also got the Rams at 7-1. Yeah, they beat up on the Texans. Who doesn't beat up on the Texans? But I mean, he's doing it with the Leica Cooper Cup. So, I mean, I give Matthew Stafford all the credit in the world. You know, his receiving core is Woods, Jefferson, and Cup. And that's not Jerry Rice, you know, and what's his name, Jonathan Taylor, and one of the other tight ends. I mean,
you could name, like, straight off the bat, you could name three better receiving duos, like 3 wide receivers on at least 5 different teams.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, exactly. Yes, he's got a good line. Yes, the defense helps. He put him in good position, etc., etc. But his stats speak for themselves. He's having a career season. You know, and he's not even. I don't think his contract's even up, so it's not like it's that. You know, he's playing lights out in what is a very good team and a very well coached team that is set up to be offensively good. And a couple of the games have been against absolute garbage. You know, Texans, Giants, and I think they had the Lions. Was it the Lions last week?
Yes, they did.
You know, I mean, so they're 3 easy games, but I don't think you. I only mention it because I think that would be the criticism you'd give them and say, well, it's an easy game. He can only go out and play who he's playing. And he's playing really
the
well.
Bengals thought the Jets were going to be an easy game.
They did. They did. And look how that turned out for them.
Now, my question is, all that time he spent in Detroit, is this the player that we could have seen if he escaped the Motor City?
Possibly. I mean, we were talking about it the other week with Mayfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, you asked the question about Mayfield or Jones, and the answer is relatively obvious, but I'd sort of talk through it because of, you talk about situations and how situations define you. So I think had he come to LA, you know, LA are what, 2-3 years removed from a Super Bowl. Would Stafford have won the Super Bowl over Goff? You know, we'll never know, but you'd probably think so, based on how they're both playing now with similar teams in the, you know, last year to this year. You know, so I think he probably has done himself some harm in terms of if he wants to be a Hall of Famer because of how long he spent in Detroit. He didn't do the selfish thing of demanding the trade or anything like that to get out early when Detroit was, you know, frankly in the toilet, you know, for a few years. So I think the likelihood is he would have played better had he not been in Detroit. There are very few teams he could have gone to out of Detroit that wouldn't have been better. Would we have seen the Stafford we've seen now if he'd gone to, say, Carolina, for instance? Maybe not. I think probably the team he is in now does help his numbers, but we're certainly seeing a better Stafford, and I think we would have seen him being talked about as a future Hall of Famer.
I agree. I mean, like he put up prolific numbers in Detroit. He just never won anything. But I just wonder if he had he had like 9,640. You know, he had more head coaches in Detroit than the Giants currently have on their staff, because, you know, the Giants have 28 assistant coaches. But he is just, I don't know. It's just, to me, I'm glad for him that he got out of that situation. I'm glad for him that he's got an opportunity to go to the playoffs and be a winner. And I want to speak to you about another winner, a player that you doubted and you keep doubting, but he's now 24-2-1 in the regular season against this team. Any idea yet? He has his team on the move at 4-3 after
a team that won the last 3 in a row.
The last 3 on the road
in a game.
Just beat the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland 15-10. You wrote off Big Ben way too early, and he's got his troops rallied.
He scored 15 points.
22 of 34, 266, and a touchdown. Najee Harris, 26 carries, 91 yards. The team is rolling.
And a touchdown as well, wasn't it?
And a touchdown. And he won a game on the road in Cleveland. And Cleveland's defense is no slouch.
Well, their offense shouldn't be either, but apparently it's not rolling. I mean, look, Steelers, like I've been saying all year, are going to be in and around the 500. I thought probably slightly less. I've always said them and the Saints will be, one of them will be 500, one of them will probably be slightly less. They might both be 500, albeit we might touch it later. Jameis now out, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there at quarterback. But you can't deny he has won, or he has led the team to 3 in a row. They still can't score points. They might now make the playoffs, ironically, because of the defense. That was always the strength there. But that offense, he's not carrying them through. Big Ben still, for me, is not the answer in Pittsburgh. They should have moved on this summer. They probably should have moved on last summer. Maybe not the following, based on the start to last season. But yeah, I mean, I'm still not a believer in the Steelers. If they make the postseason, it's defense, and it'll be around 500. But you can't really celebrate Big Ben. You read those stats: 22 for 34, 266 yards.
And a touchdown.
It's okay, and a touchdown.
But wait a minute.
They scored 15 points.
But wait a minute. 2 weeks ago, I heard a quarterback throw 33 times for barely over 200 yards and 1 touchdown, and he was a messiah.
Yeah, but that wasn't for us, though. Right? Let's be clear on this. I don't always get it right, and people don't always agree, and that's absolutely fine. But that was an idiotic thing to say, and I think I actually did say that, but that was clear sarcasm. Because I think I actually started when you said it was like, yeah, he's clearly the Messiah. What more do you want? But that was clearly sarcasm. Like, look, they can't put up 20 points. I stand by Big Ben. I stand by the fact I said they might go 500. If they go, I mean, they can't go 500 unless they draw a game because of 17 games. But if they go 10-7, I would be shocked. Like, even now they're at 4-3 because I don't think they put up enough points.
No, I don't think they do. You know what? I think they'll make the playoffs. Tomlin will have in position to be where they need to be. I think
it's not a slight on Tomlin, right? At all. He's a very good coach.
Yeah, I think they're one and done in the playoffs. But you know what? It's just nice to stick it to you about Big Ben. I'm going to jump into the Philadelphia.
He had a bye week as well, by the way. He had a rest.
He was rested.
I'm just not having.
He was rested. Hey, listen. If the president of the United States can take a nap during certain meetings, yeah, I think Big Ben might need a rest too.
I believe the official explanation was he was resting his eyes.
Did you actually see that video? Because he was resting his eyes for quite a long time, and then I love when he starts rubbing his eyes, like the old man that just got up out of the lounge chair.
I saw that. I did see the video. I'm not going to comment beyond that on whether he was asleep or not.
He was asleep. I'll comment. I know I'm from this side of the pond. I'll comment. He was asleep.
I can confirm for anyone listening that works with me, I have never once fallen asleep in a work meeting at all.
That you know of. Because Dom always tells people, no, I'm not asleep, my screen just froze. See, that's what he should have went with.
I still can't believe you did that to me 2 weeks ago, by the way, you bastard.
I forgot about that. Let's talk.
Have the world's priority issues. I'll lick your Megan. It happened again.
Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and the big win against the 0-8 Detroit Lions, 44-6. I'm only bringing them up because they're 3-5 in the division, and
they're in games.
And they're in games. I mean, I can't remember the guys. It's the head coach. Everyone made fun of him when they signed him. You made fun of him. That's why I said everyone, because you're the only one that counts. And he's got his team playing hard. He's got his team playing well. Yeah, it was against Detroit, but you still put up 44 points.
Yeah, look, they beat the Lions, right? And I think if they win 26, right, as opposed to 44-6, you're having a conversation where you go, well, they beat Detroit, big work. They did beat them in Detroit, but they beat Detroit, big work. They put up 44 points. I mean, that's not to be. This is not a team that we're talking about going postseason. This is a team that's clearly in a rebuild. It's just starting their rebuild smartly, by the way, and I did give them credit for that at the start.
I predicted the Giants to win more games than the Eagles, and right now
we all did. Who didn't have the Eagles unless they're an Eagles fan, bottom of a division? Very few people.
Well, it still doesn't make me feel any better.
But yeah, I mean, both lines well in the game. I mean, the big question they've got there, they've had a good week, haven't they? They got whatever it was, fifth round pick they got for Flacco.
Crazy.
They've had a great week, haven't they?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy what they went and got through.
I mean, two things. One, do they continue Jalen Hurts, or do they give Gardner Minshew a shot there? I mean, at the moment, you'd have to say it's probably Hurts because they're in games and they're winning it. But I noticed they used both quarterbacks, albeit Minshew, I think it was two throws he had. But
he had two throws. He had two throws, and I don't think Jalen Hurts is the answer in Philadelphia. I don't. I think he's a good potentially backup quarterback, a guy who can win you some games, but I don't think he's the long-term answer. But if you compare him to Daniel Jones, he's already thrown 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So he's the quarterback. He's the quarterback messiah of Philadelphia.
And there's something about him, personality-wise, right? I mean, he seems to lead that team quite.
He does. It's one of those things that guys seem to rally around him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, either that or they've all been taking acting classes.
I doubt it. It's Philadelphia. They can barely read. I can't believe you just said that, Dom.
Yeah, you can blame me for that one.
Wait a minute. I forgot to be more. Blimey, they can't read. I don't know what that was.
We really need to stop doing impressions. Can I just point this out? But neither of us should ever do impressions ever again.
Oh my goodness! I think I have to agree with that. Staying within the division, I want to talk Giants Chiefs. Chiefs win this game 2017. Giants fall to 2-6. The season's pretty much over for the G-men. Patrick Mahomes still has his problems. I said it during my other show that Mahomes needed to keep everything in front of him. Don't try to force things in. He gets in trouble when he goes deep because he's trying to make too much happen. He did that for a while. The Chiefs basically lost out on 2 touchdowns because of a fumble and the interception. The Giants defense, you got to give them all the credit in the world. They hung in there. But Daniel Jones just isn't it. He has no it factor about him. Once again, he has a pedestrian game, and I think the fan base is starting to slowly move the pendulum to what the rest of the entire country sees in the rest of the UK, in China, in Japan, in Russia. 22 of 32, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns and the interception, and plus another fumble. He did recover the fumble, but another fumble. He's just not the guy. And there was on ESPN today with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. They even said it once again. He is just not the guy to lead this team. They said that he may have the arm talent, he may have the leg talent, but he doesn't have what it takes between the ears or the decision-making process to be an NFL starting quarterback. I've been saying that now going on 3 years. Dom, will the Giants Giant fans finally figure out that Daniel Jones just is not the guy?
I don't know. My headphones weren't working. I couldn't hear you. Sorry. And that's why we lost the game.
For those that do not know,
I was going to say
Joe Judge.
That one.
Joe Judge blamed his headphones not working for why he burned 2 timeouts, and he has said repeatedly that they haven't worked in any stadium all year.
They seem to be working fine for everyone else.
Everyone else, they worked fine. And then I did a video today.
It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy. Like Bigfoot did it. Bigfoot. Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to ask him. Hold on. And people will enjoy this because it's a podcast. But I'll just make Dom laugh. I'll just make Dom laugh instead.
For those of you that can't see, he's actually reached below his desk and seems to have
a Bigfoot.
A Bigfoot. Yeah.
Bigfoot. Did you do it? Yeah, it was me.
Or what Tim looked like when he had hair.
Hey, I got plenty of hair.
You've got plenty of hair.
I got plenty of hair.
You always put it under a hat.
Because I need a freaking haircut. My hair is so it's almost like yours, except nicer. That's what you get for making a hair comment. I need to get a haircut, and that's why I keep wearing a hat. Because I like my hair high and tight.
Do you not remember our first ones where we were in the middle of the lockdown and I literally looked like
You did. You look like Shaggy.
Tom Hanks from Castaway.
You look like Shaggy from not Scooby-Doo. Actually, from Scooby-Doo, not the rapper Shaggy. You did look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. You did have this.
My hair's curlier than that, but yeah.
It was actually. Jeez, I forgot all about that. And I always wanted you to say I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids. That's what you needed to say. But Dom, all seriousness, yes, I know the headphones is big.
We were being serious, and by the way, can you notice I was trying to segue so we didn't have to talk about the Giants?
We have to talk about it. We got to talk about it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We have to talk about it because A, we're Giant fans, and B, we cover the NFL. I mean, but your excuse is that the headphones aren't working, and I brought up in my video today, hand signals. They've been used in the NFL since the inception of the league. And they're still used in the NFL to this day.
I mean, I've got a hand signal for front office and the coaching staff, but they may not like it.
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah, the one where I was trying to send you a wind-up gif and ended up sending you the one out of Guardians of the Galaxy where the Star-Lord is in prison and is having his photo taken. For those of you who don't know, go watch it and you'll know what I'm talking about. And hey, look at me making a superhero reference.
I know.
I'm not even a big fan. I like Guardians of the Galaxy and I like Batman the Bale ones, but that's about it when it comes to that sort of genre. But there we go. Look at me. I'm again trying to get away.
Are you freezing again? Did the hamster die? There you go. You're back.
No. No, I don't know what you missed out, so I'll just quickly repeat it. Season's done. Time to move on. Time to clean house. We said it a few weeks ago. I would have said it the week before, but it seemed churlish when we came off our first win of the season to say it. Jones isn't the answer.
Dom?
I still think he can. I am actually here.
Dom. Gotta turn your mic back on.
Hey, sorry. I don't know how that muted itself, but never mind.
Well, that's okay, because I was just screwing with you. We could hear you just fine.
Really?
And you muted yourself.
I'm Batman.
Given enough startup capital, I could be Batman.
Oh, my God. I think anyone could be Batman. Yes, but I have to agree. I mean, everything you said about the Giants, Dom's going to put his headphones back on again.
Yeah, my kids are sleeping next door, so I don't want the dulcet tones of Mr. Online Big Blue to wake them.
The melodious sounds of Online Big Blue. But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to give them nightmares.
You are John Mayer. No, you know what? You're Tish.
Do I have to be?
Yes, you have to be. You have to be.
I'll be Tish. Yeah,
this is a scary Halloween story. You are John Mayer. Or Tish.
I'm banning it when I become leader of the Supreme Universe.
What do you do at the end of this? Let's say the Giants win 5 games like I predicted. Joe Judge went from... Huh?
Did we win the lottery?
Maybe. Joe Judge went from... Let's just say Joe Judge went from 6 and 10 to 5 and 11. What do you do? If you're the ownership, what do you do?
Call it 6 and 11, right? Say matches win total from last year. Look, you've just invested all that money. You've blown next year's cap. You've gone all in, and we didn't improve, right? The coaching calls have not been good at times, and I'm talking about the head coaching calls here. The defense has regressed, albeit it's got better in recent weeks. You've not got the quarterback. You've got 2 first-round picks now.
Potentially could be in the top 10.
Yeah,
both of them.
Exactly. Look. I mean, it's clearly the end of Gettleman. I think, regardless, let's say Judge now coaches a really good game, and we end up in that position, but we lose on unfortunate fluky plays or whatever,
right.
Bad refereeing calls the rest of the season. Joe Judge turns it around right on the field. I think if you're getting rid of one, you get rid of both at this point because we're still not winning. Joe Judge hasn't been a great head coach for us, but I don't think that necessarily means he can't be a future head coach. I know you disagree, and I'm not saying he will be, but we've seen plenty of first-time head coaches get it wrong and come back and have illustrious careers on the back of that. What his next move is will be interesting, and that will be important. But I think you have to go external to the organisation for the new GM. And that new GM brings in the head coach they want, and you tear it down and you go again. And hey, you might ride with Daniel Jones if you don't think you've got your future quarterback there next year, or you might want to go, do you know what? We haven't got the right pieces around for a new quarterback, and we want to get the pieces in first, then bring our quarterback in, or however you want to do it. So it might be Daniel Jones again next season. I think probably I'd be looking to move on. If it
problem with Daniel Jones is next year you're going into year 4 of his contract.
It's a cap, as well. Getting rid of players is going to be a cap challenge, even if you can find the value on the trade market. So I suspect you might need to ride with Daniel Jones, and if you like a quarterback, they back up Daniel Jones for next season. I don't know, but you've just got to try something new because it's time to start again.
It's time to start anew. And we're gonna get out of the doldrums of New York because evidently when the Jets are the best team in the city.
So really quickly though, I mean, just on the other side of that, Chiefs, really quickly, do you think that the performance from Mahomes means that offense is starting to turn the corner, or do you still think they've got
same problems?
Yeah,
all of his problems is he was forcing things in that he shouldn't have. He tried to go. He tried to go deep. He tried to force things that just weren't there. And that's his biggest problem. That's why he had 11 interceptions in 2 years, and he's got 11 interceptions now.
He must now be leading the league
He's got to be
this week because he was level with Wilson going in. So
I mean, but he's got to be. So I mean, it doesn't fix anything. They did trade for Melvin Ingram, the defensive end slash linebacker today. The Chiefs did. I don't think that's going to help the defense. I don't think the defense is the problem. And it's shocking to say that I don't think – and I said this before, and I think I said this last week. I don't think the Chiefs' defense is as bad as they look. I think it's the fact that the offense keeps putting them into very vicarious situations with these bad turnovers.
I mean, the defense has been bad this year, but you said it would get better as the season goes on, and time will tell on that one. But it's the fact they can't look after the ball on offense. It doesn't help the other side of the ball, and and that goes vice versa. But the offense has not been the problem in recent years. I know you're rebuilding the line, but Mahomes has this scrambling ability to sort of not totally disregard that, because you saw that in the Super Bowl last year, but certainly to play better than he is doing behind a poor offensive line. And there is a worry in Kansas with where they are. They're 4-4. They're not out of it, but they're going to need to start playing better. And when the Giants' defense can hold you, then there is a potential issue there.
There is a potential issue.
And by the way, the referees had a busy day. They earned their money in that game.
Yeah, did they have? What the Chiefs had 10 penalties for 108 yards. 12 penalties. I knew it was something crazy. I knew it was something crazy.
Giants had almost as many, if not one more.
And I know Giant fans are going to complain about the face mask at the end, but he already had the first down. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it was 15
Let's worry about jumping offside on an interception, or making the downs and then celebrating in the guy's face when you can't. I mean, come on.
Which I think is the funniest thing, because John Mara was a huge proponent of the taunting penalty, and literally it slapped his team in the face.
I wonder if he is this morning. But anyway, let's move on. But
let's move on.
Chiefs still in the playoff hunt, but they're going to
need help.
They're going to need to improve big time.
Let's jump into a game, and it wasn't even a good game, but I just want to talk about it for a second. We got the 49ers 33, the Chicago Bears 22. Chicago had an early lead in this game, then the wheels kind of fell off the bus, with San Francisco scoring 18 unanswered points. Jimmy Garoppolo 17-28 for 322 yards. You had Eli Mitchell running for 137 yards. I have no idea who Eli Mitchell is. The Bears right now are 3-5. They're reeling. Giant fans were happy about that. Justin Fields, after the third quarter, couldn't do anything at 19-27 for 175, a touchdown and interception. He did have 10 rushes for 103 yards. He had a nifty play that he scored a touchdown on.
Two nifty plays, I thought, actually.
Yeah, but the one that he scored the touchdown on.
The scrambling touchdown.
The scrambling touchdown, where there was no way in hell he should have scored that. That showed you why Chicago wanted this kid. I think San Francisco, I don't know if they're turning the corner, headed towards the right direction. Who knows? But I think Chicago is definitely going downward. Is this the sign to come that San Francisco is going to kind of turn around at 3-4 and make a move within the division?
Well, they've got some catching up to do. The two ahead of them are 7-1, but there's no reason why three potentially couldn't come out of that division. They're going to have to win in division. They're going to have to stay healthy. I tipped them to it was a bit of a hot take to take the division, but I did at least caveat myself there by saying if they stay healthy, which they never do. But this was Jimmy G by all accounts. A lot of San Francisco fans are saying this was the best game they've ever seen him play. He didn't get any touchdown through the air, but he got two with his feet. They show they can score in the end zone without obviously score in the end zone, in the red zone, without Trey Lance, which is what they were doing earlier in the season. But I said it earlier when we're talking about the Cardinals, when they were 3-0 at the time. I said, let's see how they play against the really good sides. And at the moment, the Bears aren't it. So I'm not saying this is a turnaround point for them. It was a much-needed win, a confidence-boosting win. Confidence booster for Jimmy G, but I want to before I start saying they're on the right track again, I want to go and see them beat Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Rams.
One of the Bays.
You get the idea. Yeah. Any of the Bays will do. But
I think those are the only two Bays, though.
There's a Bay of Biscay. That's a nice little one. They can come over to the European Football League and see how they get on. I'm sure there's a Portuguese side. Or a Spanish side on that lovely northern coast there. That'd be fine.
You know what the biggest problem? You know what the biggest problem is right there, Dom? You didn't cut out.
Yeah, I know, but I'm showing off my geography.
We just lost 3 subscribers.
Just because you're jealous, because I can point to a map and tell you what country it is.
That's not.
And sadly, probably their flag and capital city.
That's not saying much. My dog could probably do that better than I could.
But Chicago at least can take some solace in the fact that I think they have a potential franchise quarterback in there. One I would be backing to be a franchise quarterback at this point. He just needs game time. I think by year 3-4, we'll be talking about him as being, in and around the top 10. I think that's a solace.
Speaking of franchise quarterbacks, you had 2 of them kind of heading in different directions at the moment. You got New England Patriots 27, Los Angeles Chargers 24. Chargers are reeling a little bit. The Duck did not look good. He threw 2 more interceptions. Mac Jones, 18 of 35, 218. This was an interesting game to watch. I watched most of this game, and if you would have told me that one team scored 27 and one team scored 24, I would think that's a lot, because there was not much going on. There was 7-7 after after the first quarter. There was not a lot. There was not a lot going on until the fourth quarter. Are these teams now in opposite directions? Is the pendulum swinging different directions for both? Now the Patriots at 4-4 and the Los Angeles Chargers at 4-3.
So really quickly, do you think Mac Jones can be a franchise quarterback? Because you're saying 2 franchise quarterbacks. I mean, they are at the moment the franchise quarterback for those teams. But do you think he can be? If he can be, it's in New England. I don't see it anywhere else.
I mean, the kid's got over almost 2,000 yards. He's completing 68% of his passes, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Well.
6 interceptions. He's playing well. He's playing within the Belichick, Josh McDaniels system. I'm still not sold on him being the heir apparent, or the second heir apparent to Tom Brady, because the first one was Cam Newton.
He wasn't really. Let's be honest, he was a bridge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sold on it. I'm more perplexed at times in reference to the failures of the Duck in some of the decisions he has made on the field, which he didn't make last year, and he didn't make for the first 6 games of the season. And I think he'll come around. I'm not too worried about Justin, but I'm just not sold on Mac Jones being the guy in New England yet.
No, my position's always been clear on him. If he can make it, it's going to be in that system, and he's a fit for that system. And I understand why New England took him. I wouldn't have taken him if I was any other team in the league, funny enough. And as for Herbert, like I said last year, I was a bit, really? But he proved me wrong, and I think Clash is permanent, and form is temporary, and I think it's a bit of a downward form. As for where the teams are, I think they're where I thought they'd be at the start of the season. I thought the Pats would start slowly, albeit I thought some of the games they've lost, I thought they'd win. Some of the games they won, I thought they'd lose. But I think they'd be around 10-7 at the end of the season. They'd be in the playoff conversation with that. This is a signature win for them in terms of this season. They do tend to get stronger. Belichick's history suggests that. As for the Chargers, I think they're a really good team. I think they are going in the right direction as a team. Obviously, the last couple of results not so good, particularly last week, or was it the week before they got blown out? But I think it was last week. It was last week. But I think this is a year too early for them to start really pushing towards the Super Bowl bubble. I think probably potentially 2 years away from being in that bubble. But I think, they've got all the right pieces and are going in completely the right direction as a franchise. It was always too early this year. I said it at the start of the season. Nothing I've seen suggests otherwise. But a really good win for the Patriots. But I think both will be in contention for a playoff spot come the end.
Wanted to talk about
unless the injury bug hits or something horrific.
Wanted to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars against Seattle. The 3-5 Seattle. This is a game of the Titans. The 1-6 Jaguars. 3-5 Seattle. I mean, this was it's the Jaguars. I mean, I honestly think that I could play in starting as Jaguars. And potentially win, because Geno Smith can go 20 or 24 for 195 and 2 touchdowns, and drop 31 on them, I think I could score at least 17 to 19 points on Jacksonville.
Tim, I've got your agent. As your agent, I've got the Miami Dolphins on the phone. Wanting to know if you'd like to sign for them, because if you can play against them and win, they'd like to sign you.
We're gonna get into Tua. We're gonna get into.
I'm not blaming Tua, by the way, but the Dolphins, of course, being the team that lost to the Jags or the Jaguars.
Jaguars.
It's not over. No, you don't overemphasize it. It's nice and soft, nice and slow, nice and smooth. The smooth sounds of the Jaguars. Come on, get with the program. But there we go. Look,
and there goes another subscriber.
Yeah, there we go. We're down to just the king of idiots. Who I just want to pass on to him and my mate Luke. Congratulations for the news you got from work yesterday. Well done, gents. I won't explain, but well done to both of you.
You just told me the king of the idiots was too dumb to turn off the podcast. That's the only reason why he watches. Now you're going to compliment him?
Yeah. No, I'm not complimenting him. He didn't do anything to do it, but he got the result he wanted.
Oh my God. Sorry, Bigfoot just fell over.
Let's not go too far. I've complimented his Patriots. I've said congratulations. I can't give him 3 compliments in one show.
Yeah, I know. Something might happen.
But yeah, it's like when you call the whatever the Halloween film is where you say his name 3 times, Beetlejuice. That's the one. Anyway, back to this one. We were talking earlier about the 49ers. Is this a turnaround win? People are saying the same for the Seahawks. They beat the Jags, for Christ's sake. Admittedly they beat them without Russell Wilson, and he's having the pins removed this week, if all is to be believed. The Seahawks are still not the team they were a few years ago. They need to start going, not into a full rebuild necessarily, but they need to start refreshing that, and they just need to go through the process now. But this was a bad game for the Jags. They are a bad team. And what do you think the future is for them? What do you think the future is for Urban Meyer? He survived the scandal earlier on. Do they ride with him, or what do you think they do? Or is he one and done?
I think he's going to be a Nick Saban. I still think he's going to USC.
You think he's going to go back to the college game and say, the NFL's not for me?
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to take a job at USC.
Now or end of the season?
End of season.
End of season. Yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be a possibility, right? I mean, USC haven't, brought anyone in now, and
they haven't.
You'd like to think they have a plan.
USC has not been anything since Carroll left. The closest success they had was Lane Kiffin, and that guy was just a whack job. It would give him stability. It'd give him a name. It would give him, you got Urban from Ohio State and Florida. I mean, so it would make sense and he's just not an NFL head coach.
I mean, they threw the ball 54 times, and I know you've got the potential, number one. Well, he's a number one pick, but the potential best quarterback in the league. One of the best prospects coming out of college at that position for since Andrew Luck. There, but you can't throw the ball 54 times. It's not like you've got a terrible running game. I know your first round choice running back was out for the season before the season even started, but come on, his receivers can't catch. We've seen it all year. You can't keep getting him to throw the ball and expect him to win. What's the definition of madness? I think that for them they either cut him now or make sure he's committed for the next 3 or 4 years, because it is a bad team. I think maybe not as bad as they're seeing, but they probably should be 2-3 win team. I think would have been where we thought they might be at this point.
It's
5-6 win for the season.
You got a couple more games still. You got a couple.
It's looking a long way off.
You got a couple more games, but let's get out of the garbage bowl, because I want to talk about the games. I got 2 of the games I want to talk about. One of the games, it's the Tampa Bay Bucks losing in the Dome, 36-27 to the Saints. Jameis Winston tears his ACL and his MCL, 6 for 10 for a touchdown. Trevor Siemian, former of the Denver Broncos, 16-29 for 159 and a touchdown, comes in and saves the day. Tom Brady, in a delicious bit of irony, that first quarter fumble, that kind of looked like the Tuck rule to me. So, I mean, this time it just didn't go his way. 6-2 for the Bucks. Tom Brady had a bad day, 3 turnovers. I'm shocked that New Orleans dropped 36 on this Tampa Bay defense, because I think the Tampa Bay defense is much better than.
Sorry, one more time.
I think the Tampa Bay defense is much better than the Saints offense.
Sorry, one more time.
Why do I don't understand what you want to say?
No, you're just struggling to say Tampa Bay defense, and I'm just enjoying myself.
The Tampa Bay defense is much better than the offense for the Saints, and I think that's the case. And now 7 of those points did come back on the touchdown, the INT, the interception that Tom Brady also threw. He also took a bunch of sacks in this game. I think it's more of a blip on the radar for Tampa. I don't think this is I don't think this is something to hang your hat on. Yeah, I know the Saints are now 5-2, but to me, it's one of those 5-2 teams that were done with mirrors.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think look, like I said earlier when we were talking about the Steelers, I think they're in around the 500, and at the moment they're way over that. I think the Bucs are still a very good team. I think the defense is more of the worry than the offense in terms of how it's performed compared to last season. I haven't seen the stats, but I would imagine that would bear me out. Certainly, that's the eye test. But I think they're not going to accept that for longer. They've got the talent there. Bucks, I'm not concerned about. For me, it's an interesting one, isn't it? But I was talking to it was a different sport. I was talking to a mate of mine about bogey teams, bogey times of the year, and the Saints seem to be that for Brady. It's his 4th loss to Peyton.
Yeah.
Which is when you think about how much the man has done in the game in terms of Brady. 4-2 against the Saints is. I imagine there's no other team where that record comes anywhere close to that, apart from Super Bowl games against the Giants, because it's been a while, Chris. So I thought I'd bring that up, where he has such a bad record. But Jameis, I mean, in fairness, I think Jameis played really well this season.
He's played well.
It's a shame for him he's out, because I think he showed everyone what he can do, which ironically he didn't show in Tampa. And now you'd have thought that despite Simeon playing now, I think it will be. I imagine this is going to be Taysom Hill for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, Hill's supposed to come back next week from the concussion, and I wasn't really picking on the Saints offense, because they do have Alvin Kamara, but their leading receiver
and Michael Thomas to come back,
and their leading receiver was with 38 yards. It was one catch for 38 yards. That was their leading receiver in reference to yardage, and it was Kevin White, the former first-round bust from the Chicago Bears back in 2016. When he's your leading receiver with 38 yards. This was a wacky game.
When your leading receiver has 38 yards and you put up 36 points.
That's what I'm saying. This was just crazy. I think it's an aberration. I don't think it's much.
Put those stats back up on the board again next week, and we play the game and say the Saints get the same stats in terms of yards they went with the yards to receivers, and tell me they win the game. They don't win the game. Like, I mean, obviously they did, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they don't lose that game with those stats again.
Not again. And you know what? I want to jump into.
It might be Detroit, but no.
Yeah, I was like, maybe if they're playing Detroit. One game I do want to jump into, and I want to make this the last game because we're always going over as we always do, and that is going to be the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings. Dallas takes this game 20-16. Got a Amari Cooper touchdown pass with 51 seconds left from Cooper Rush. I honestly thought they were going to. They took this game in Minnesota without Dak. I thought they were going to lose this game, Dallas. I was perplexed that they even were still in this game. And it's weird to say because we always talk about the offense, but the defense came up big. Michael Parsons is beyond what you could call a difference maker. 10 tackles, 11 total, 4 tackles for losses. He was literally everywhere on that field. And Cooper Rush coming in throwing for over 300 yards. I mean, it's a game I didn't think they were going to win. It was a game that I thought it was going to be marked down as a loss because of the loss of Dak Prescott, plus the fact you played in Minnesota. But that's what scares me, the defense stepping up for Dallas.
It was a big question coming into the big questions coming in were, is Dak healthy?
Yep.
He had the injury scare and the precautionary MRI scan. And the defense, how was the defense? Because it was so revamped. Like, no one knew how it was going to fare. And I don't want to go on about Michael Parsons, but he's looking like the man that we wanted to draft.
He was the man we wanted to draft.
So I'm slightly upset, especially when he's in division. But that defense is playing really, really well. I still think the secondary is slightly overperforming expectations. We talked about that last week. But this is a really good win. Brilliant win on the road. I mean, Cousins did a Cousins again, didn't he? He does it too often. He just doesn't win when it's against the big teams. And that for me, I think the Cowboys are obviously postseason. I think they're going to be a threat. I don't think they're going Super Bowl. And I don't think they're winning it. That might bite me in a few months' time. But I look at the Vikings and think, what do they need to do there? They're just going nowhere. They yo-yo around, and I just don't think Cousins is the answer there. I thought that for a few years there. You just starting to. People are starting to come around to that view, and then suddenly he has a big game, and then it goes back again. Sort of Daniel Jones-esque, except slightly more talented. What do they do there? With him, is Kellen Mond? I think that's who they drafted. I'm sure it's Kellen Mond. Is he going to be the long term there?
I don't think so.
Or what? No, I mean I don't either. If he was, you'd be putting.
He would already be playing.
Yeah. But they just seem a bit directionless to me. I don't know what you think on that.
It's like the ship without her rudder. I don't know.
We agreed earlier we're not doing impressions anymore. Come on, man. What's going on?
Wait.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
Of course, we have to have one more impression out there for Dom. Dom was probably waiting for that. It's the lightning round with Dom. It's lightning topics with Dom. And it's, as always, we need a tremendous build-up. Here's Dom. Lightning topics. Greatest segment of the show. Something that everyone waits an hour to hear. The thoughts that come out of Dom's head. The entertainment value is better than the original Star Wars movie. What do you got for us today, Dom?
Vikings. What do you think about what they need to do there? Since you didn't answer the question and ducked it by playing that button.
I didn't. I think they're going to stick with Cousins.
I think they are, but they shouldn't, right?
No, I don't think a lot of it's Kirk Cousins. I think a lot of it falls on the fact that you're trying to run the ball with Dalvin Cook all the time, and then you get rid of Stephon Diggs, and then you're expecting the same results from 2 years ago.
I mean, I agree. It's not just Cousins, but they need to do something there. They don't seem to be doing anything. It just baffles me, But there you go. I'll let you off that half answer.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
I'm just going to let people listen to you laugh for a second.
I'm sorry. I think that's Go ahead. Oh, I got a cough.
You sound like Muttley from Wacky Races.
Oh my God, Wacky! Dude, Dick Dasherly's dog, man. Oh my God!
Some kind of camp vampire.
My son has never seen the Wacky Racers. He doesn't understand.
How the hell not?
He does not understand Penelope Pitstop. And help me.
Peter Perfect.
Well, they don't have Wacky Racers on here in these states.
They probably don't hear, but you can find it on YouTube. I like the caveman whose name is
Captain Caveman.
By the way, this is a fascinating lightning round.
His name, the caveman's name is Captain Caveman.
No, it was twins. It was twins. They were like the Crush Brothers or something.
No, the caveman with the club, his name is Captain Caveman.
No, there were two of them. Look, I'm going to Google this afterwards.
No. That one was a girl. That doesn't count. That's Mrs. Caveman.
No, you're talking rubbish. Anyway, I'll Google it afterwards. Forget this. After Bing or whatever it was let me down earlier by telling me the wrong time. I had a rush
Draft,
upstairs.
baby. Yeah.
All right, let's try again, shall we? Let's go again.
All right.
Right, serious this time. We're not going on to Fireman Sam, Wacky Races, none of that rubbish.
You can't handle the truth.
I'm going to have to take that board away from you, man. Look.
There's a fine line between tough and crazy, and you're flirting with.
Sorry.
You're not flirting with you. You're way past
Are you a big man? What?
Do you want to just make the lightning round? You press buttons.
That's what she said. All right, come on, Dom lightning round. Come on, Dom. Wrap it up.
Right. I'm trying. You're the one pressing buttons on me.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
Oh man, let's just end the show. 1 minute.
Wrong intro.
Well, yeah.
and I can't turn it off.
We're professionals. We're professionals. Well, you know, this is going to end up. We're going to end up on ESPN's morning breakfast show doing this. I mean, I'm quite sure. Send it in.
Send it in. Come on, now wrap it up here. Come on.
I'm trying, man. Von Miller.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
I knew you were going to do that as well. Look, we were talking before.
Were you a big man?
Deadline.
Sorry. Can I put my hands up here? Can I put my hands here?
Covering your face, that is an improvement. I will agree.
Okay, Von Miller.
Trade deadline. That's all that happened, right? Trade deadline.
Yeah,
Von Miller, nothing else happened.
Nothing else exciting happened.
What do you think that does for? I think this is a win-win trade. I think it's a win for the Broncos to get picks, so they can go and get a quarterback or rebuild in the draft, however they want to do it. But I think probably trading up for a quarterback, Messrs. Rodgers, Watson, and Wilson will probably be on their radar. And for the Rams, they obviously clearly want to have 2 days putting their feet up in their draft room in Malibu because they're not taking part in the first 2 days of the draft next year.
No, not at all.
Because they've given everything up. But actually, I don't necessarily think that's stupid. They're in the Super Bowl window now. Mm-hmm. You know, and Von Miller gives them an extra edge presence. I mean, I don't know what your view is on that. And by the way, they're not paying his salary this year. Pretty much, they're paying $7 million of it.
You're teaming him up with Aaron Donald.
I mean, that's not formidable.
Enough said. I mean, you don't need to say anything else. You're teaming him up with Aaron Donald.
You're not worried about that.
No.
Who's worried about that?
No. I mean,
only the Rams aren't worried about that. Everyone else, absolutely bricking it.
What bad things could happen?
They could run into each other and hurt each other. That's all you've got to worry about. Just don't run into each other, boys. You'll be all right.
Well, they're not playing Kyler Murray, so they'll be all right. But yeah, I mean honestly, it's a good trade. Von Miller, you know, he got his ring in Denver. He's getting out of Denver. He's going to a contender. He's going to, you know, you're going to L.A. You're going from the snow in Denver to L.A. I mean, what the hell? I mean. It would only be better if the team was still in San Diego, because I like San Diego better than Los Angeles. For Von Miller's perspective.
I was going to say, presumably though, he doesn't have any tourist board links, so like Aaron Rodgers, so Denver should be okay.
I think Denver will be fine.
Yeah, but they're rebuilding, right? So they've done the right thing. Look, he's probably not signing a new contract, so they'd have to franchise tag him to keep him. So you take the picks.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You know, absolutely sensible. I think it's a win-win. Do you think this could push the Rams over the top? Now I don't have to keep talking while you have a cough.
Joking. Does this push the Rams over the top?
Yeah, I can see you're not muted, so...
Sorry. I was trying to trick Dom again, but by just pretending to talk. Yeah, I mean, you got to put him in Super Bowl contention.
Winners? Question mark?
Too early to pick a winner. Too early. Too early. Check with me in about week 15.
Have a go.
Okay.
Have your way too early pick.
Wait.
I'm talking to you.
I never make picks this early. Too many things can happen after 8 weeks. You got another 9 weeks technically.
You get a lot of injuries.
Check with me in 5 weeks, and if they're still both healthy and they're both playing up to expectations, then I can make a pick, or I can make a prognosis.
I'm going to go with a caveated yes. I think that's what you were not saying.
I'm not saying any of that caveated yes. And on that note, this is Tim and Don from NFL Talk from across the pond and back. We're ending it with a caveat. We will see you next week. And that is a threat. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hopefully next week will be just as good as this week, and we will see you then.